So America is the dream country for many nurses trained in Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean. However, for nurses trained in Africa, the whole process of relocating to America is quite expensive. And because of that, sometimes they have to rely on some agencies and sign very bad contracts where once they get to the US, eventually they now have to work for 3,000 hours for the agency, where those 3,000 hours they're not going to get the same amount that the other nurses are getting. They're probably getting very little money, and people become so stressed. But the reason why most nurses in Africa rely on these agencies is because the process is quite expensive. The registration for the NCLEX is expensive, all the paperwork is daunting, and then one of the most stressful aspects of the whole process is the fact that the NCLEX, which is the main exam that people have to take, right? The NCLEX RN exams, there was only one center in the whole of Africa, which was South Africa. There are Pearson VUE test centers in almost every African country. However, not all the Pearson VUE test centers were allowed to take the NCLEX RN exams because of the nature of the exam. The only test center in Africa that was allowed to, conduct this NCLEX RN exam was South Africa. Especially those from West Africa, East Africa, they tried to get visa to South Africa to go and sit these exams, and it's a lot. So imagine you really want to go to the US, you've studied for your NCLEX, you now have to apply for a visa, book a flight ticket. When you go to South Africa, you need a place to stay. In fact, every Ghanaian nurse that I know who relocated from Ghana directly to the US, they had to travel all the way to India to sit for the NCLEX RN exam, because apparently, as at the time, it's just now that there's a visa waiver for Ghanaians who want to go to South Africa. But the whole time, it was more difficult to get a South African visa than to get a visa to India. So they would rather apply for an Indian visa just because they want to sit for the NCLEX RN exam. Go to India, book a hotel. I mean, talk about flight tickets and all these things. And these agencies that were willing to sponsor the entire process, some of the agencies were taking advantage of people, because at the end of the day, because they're helping you financially to cater for the rest of the process, they're going to make you sign very bad contracts, and you do not have the money, so you go ahead. And that is why most people, although America was the dream, they would rather come to the UK and then sit for the NCLEX RN exam in the UK and do the process themselves, just because of these bad contracts. And I've had several people on my channel that have said this. The dream was America, but we had to use the UK as a stepping stone because it was much quicker and much easier to come to the UK. And then when we get here and we're working and we're earning money in pounds, we can fund the whole process ourselves, so that when we go to the US, we will not be tied to any such bad contract. And that's what most people do. Today, I have good news for you. Stop that. So about 6 days ago, as from the time that I'm filming this video, there was this conference, if I should call it like that, in Nairobi, Kenya, East Africa, where they announced, or they launched, a new Pearson VUE test center that is eligible for conducting the NCLEX RN exams. Listen to this for yourself.
It is really with great pleasure that I want to welcome you here as we gather this afternoon for the launch of the Pearson VUE test, a center here in Nairobi, which is the second such center in Africa. His Excellency, the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, in the Kenya Kwanza bottom-up economic transformation agenda, made a commitment for the protection of rights and welfare of Kenyans living in the diaspora. But with that, he also gave us the obligation to continuously find and secure employment and placement for Kenyans in good job opportunities abroad. Today, we start a process which I am certain will do exactly that. Through our collaboration with our diasporian, Mheshimiwa Noor, Pearson International, the State Department for Diaspora Affairs, the Kenya Embassy in Washington, which was very instrumental in making this happen, and members of our diaspora, we are gathered here to witness the launch of Pearson VUE's Test Center, which will see Kenyan nurses, as Ms. Hughes so well said, sit the NCLEX RN exam and allow them to explore opportunities in the diaspora, in the US, in Canada, in Australia, in New Zealand, and so on.
I'm still trying to find the exact date when people will be allowed to book their NCLEX at this tech center. If I do find it, I'll leave it on the screen as I'm editing. However, if I do not find it in my research, I'll have to come and make another video and announce exactly when this thing will be in full force.
Have you taken the IELTS multiple times without success? Are you 2, 1, or even just half a band away from what the NMC or GMC require in order to give you your PIN or license to practice? Then stop, take a breath, and let us help. You see, here at IELTS Medical, we've given doctors and nurses the tools they need to pass the academic version of the IELTS exam as efficiently as possible. Whether you've reached above 7.0 in 3 sub-tests, but can't seem to crack IELTS writing, whether it's IELTS reading that's the thorn in your side, it's okay, we're here for you.
This is very good news because people in East Africa, other countries in East Africa, can get access to Kenya easily to be able to do this exam, and I'm sure it will be less expensive, hopefully, because even in the article that I read, it says empowering Kenyan nurses, inauguration of Nairobi's NCLEX-RN test center, and this is from MOH News. It says on the 16th of January 2024, Tuesday marked a historic moment as Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, accompanied by the Health Cabinet Secretary and Principal Secretary for Public Health and Professional Standards, Mary Muthoni Muruki, inaugurated Nairobi's NCLEX-RN Test Center. This fully equipped center, a game changer for Kenyan nurses, is set to significantly reduce exam costs by 50%. The establishment of the NCLEX Center in Nairobi eliminates the need for nurses to travel abroad, bringing transformative benefits to our healthcare sector. Direct access to lucrative opportunities in the US, Canada, and Australia is now guaranteed to Kenyan nurses, contributing not only to individual career growth but also to national economic development. The Ministry of Health is actively collaborating with various partners to create additional job opportunities for nurses, aligning with the bottom-up transformation agenda. So Pearson VUE test centers launched in Nairobi's response to the long-standing desire for the local National Council licensure examination for registered nurses, NCLEX-RN. This move reduces the Kenyan nurses to undergo examinations in India or South Africa, making the process more accessible. The examination, crucial for nurses aspiring to work in the US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, is administered globally by Pearson VUE. The inauguration of this testing center not only brings the examination closer to home, but also aligns with KMTC's efforts to enhance accessibility for Kenyan candidates. The new center holds immense significance as it is expected to slash examination costs by over 50%. KMTC, proactively addressing this initiative, has developed a comprehensive NCLEX preparatory course curriculum aiming to equip nurses with the skills needed to pass the examination on their first attempt. The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with line ministries and various partners, is committed to creating additional job opportunities for Kenyan nurses in line with the bottom-up transformation agenda. This launch not only brings convenience but also opens doors for enhanced professional growth for Kenyan nurses, reflecting a positive stride in the health sector. So I even forgot to mention that NCLEX-RN is not only a requirement for nurses that want to go to America alone. For those that want to go to Canada, Australia, New Zealand as well, they are required to take an NCLEX-RN exam. So it's not only going to benefit people that want to move to the US, but also benefit people that want to go to Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. So this is very, very good news. And I'm happy that the Kenyan government is doing this, or their Ministry of Health is doing this, because they are giving their nurses the chance to get better opportunities outside Kenya. And this will also let a lot of other nurses aspiring Canada, Australia, US nurses also move into Kenya to take this exam. That's also good for the Kenyan economy, right? Because they'll probably get Kenyan Airways to go there, they'll get hotels to go there, and they're going to pay. Yeah, I think this is good all in all, especially for Kenyan nurses and the other countries close by. So this is the good news that I wanted to share, and congratulations, Kenya. I hope that this is the first of many, because we have signed several petitions to allow NCLEX-RN to be conducted in other African countries. Other countries should also learn. Probably there should be a center in, let's say, Nigeria. I mean, look at how big Nigeria is, and there's absolutely no NCLEX-RN test center. There should be one in Ghana. There should be one, around, so that it will not just be those two African countries. If South Africa is able to conduct it fairly and smoothly, and Kenya is about to start as well, I mean, they should look at the other countries and also give us the opportunity, so that it will not be tasking and so difficult and stressful just to move to Australia or wherever. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did benefit from this. Let me know what you think in the comment section. What do you think? What country do you think is next to get an NCLEX-RN Pearson VUE test center? Comment below, let me know. Thank you so much.